All right, thanks for doing this interview.
Yeah.
I'll let you introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah, what's up? My name is PJ. I'm an editorial documentary photographer here based in Philadelphia.
And just from what I know about your work
Yeah.
and seeing what you focus on food. What made you focus specifically on food photography?
I think focusing on food was a little bit of a strategical move for me in terms of like staying in Philadelphia, but I honestly feel like I'm capable of shooting anything, but food right now is the genre I picked in terms of like my editorial route and just like my way of connecting with the culture here in Philadelphia, because I think the food scene here is like on a renaissance period in terms of like chef entrepreneurs in general, restaurateurs. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, it's just like it's a space in the country that's like really taking over the culinary scene, which is really, in a way, surprising because you wouldn't expect that from a small city like Philadelphia.
So besides food, what else do you shoot?
Yeah. So honestly, like the sky's the limit for me. Like I could shoot BTS for a rap video, and then the very next day I'll shoot like a baby shower. It really depends on like my connection with my quote unquote client or the person that I'm really like working with. And I try to, invest my time into people's lives and their goals. And if it aligns with me and if they align with my vision and my perspective, then I can shoot anything.
Okay. And you don't mind being labeled as the guy who shoots everything. That's not a problem for you. You actually enjoy that.
Yeah, it took me some time to like. I think every photographer or every artist, in general, takes a self look at themselves and really like, you know, how can I kind of make a name for myself in whatever industry they're in. I thought I still think like that in a way, but like sometimes you just gotta take a step back and really just like hone in on your artistry and really like take a deep look into who you are and like what you like to do and just follow that.
And one thing I can say about you shooting a lot of things, your style does transfer over to all of those things. Like when I see you shoot events and
Mhm.
weddings and food and headshots, I can still say this is a PJ image.
Yeah.
Part of it is the direct flash. Part of it is the calm that you bring to a shoot because you don't over direct. I feel like you create a space and allow the person to create and interact within that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I look at my art in like that Japanese philosophy of like wabi sabi, and like it is what it is in a way. And yeah, and sometimes it's just not that deep. I understand like there's clients out there that want the perfect photo shoot, and I get it. You're investing a lot of money and time into this project and this production, or into the campaign. I get that, but sometimes art should be freely created, and it shouldn't have any like direction. Sometimes the direction is honestly the interpretation of whoever's looking at it.
How did you develop the skills in food photography, or is it that same philosophy of I just shoot? And because when you look at some food photography, it's very polished and there are
Hmm.
stylists on sets and
Yeah.
there are people adjusting the food, and the photographers even have a styling kit. Do you have a styling kit? Who's on set with you when you shoot?
Yeah. Um, I think I see it both ways, honestly. It really depends on the client and what their vision is. If they want like a free and loose shoot and kind of like more of that customer experience and what vibe they bring to the table, then I shoot very loose and free and kind of just like be that person who's eating the dish and taking a photo here and there. But then sometimes I do want to work more with stylists. I haven't really worked with stylists like that. I'm looking to expand my horizons and like work with other talented artists and just collab. But I like working with a stylist. I know will definitely take it to a next level. But I definitely see both sides and I could appreciate both sides, but I want to be a little bit in the middle, I want to be able to collaborate with people and be open to connecting with people, but at the same time, have that freedom of like choosing my own angles kind of thing and setting up my own lighting. Because styling is definitely styling is harder than it looks, you know. Like I can't, I'll admit for myself that like I cannot style anything. I'm more just like, hey, let's style it how it is. And there might be a tissue that we want to get rid of, but like I kind of like the tissue.
So you rely on the chefs to plate the food in a presentable manner as if someone was going to eat it, and then you shoot from there in actual location of the restaurant. So you're not at the point now in your career where you're shooting food in studio.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like I'm not at that studio food. I don't think I want to be there honestly, it's the right um unless it's the right campaign or the right like everything just has to connect with me and the chef or the stylist or whoever's managing the project. But yeah, like I trust the chef as much as I trust a stylist, because the chef is the one, this is the chef's idea too. Like a lot of people should consider chefs as artists too, because they put their creations on a piece of plate, and not only are you visually looking at it, you're also tasting it. That's like two sensory things, and you could smell it too. That's a sensory overload right there, and that's like an amazing art form that is not kind of like not really thought of in a way, but I'm sure it is. I'm just saying it like that.
So are you big on equipment for this type of work? Because you're going to location and you said you're not shooting in studio. So what does your equipment look like? Are you traveling light? Because as people will tell from the BTS that I captured of you working, you do work with a lot of small film cameras. So what's your equipment relationship?
Yeah, like tying it back to kind of like that conversation and expectations you have with the client. If the client is willing to pay for my art, I'm gonna like be prepared for that, and I'm gonna bring in like as much equipment that I need. But I'll tell you off the bat, like I don't need much. You can give me a point and shoot, and I'll still throw you a campaign. But you know, if someone's paying me over $5,000 to shoot something, I'm not gonna just bring a point and shoot. You know, I'm still bringing my setups, my lighting equipment, the proper team and stuff, because I do still want to be respected as a professional and not just a guy with a point and shoot.
What does your typical work week look like?
My typical work week looks like me waking up in the morning, grabbing some coffee, looking at my emails, and then I probably have like a meeting at like 12 or 1. Have that meeting, I do some edits or look at some pictures, and then that's kind of it. I feel like I have a European schedule where I wake up really early and try to be productive in the morning, and then I try to end my day around like 2 or 3 p.m. and then that's it.
Yeah, that's normally when I'm tapped out too. Like by the time you're 20 emails and you're brainstorming photo shoots, processing images, at that point you need to get up, walk around, get away from the computer, kind of just give your brain a break.
And then like this year, I've been trying to kind of like better myself in terms of like organizing and stuff. So I've been trying to do more time blocking. I'm trying to like look at my calendar more and think ahead and be like, okay, I have a free week this week. Let me try to do something productive. Maybe get a meeting in, or do a test shoot with somebody, reach out to somebody, something.
How often are you shooting client work?
Over time, I increased my prices because I just know my worth more. So I want to, and it's not because I want to make more money or anything. It's just time is money, and time, like I don't want to be doing like 5 photo shoots for like $200 and I'm working all the time. Yeah. That's cool and all, but like, and I'm grateful, I'm still grateful if that happens. But if I could do 1 or 2 big projects that are really collaborative and really aligned with my vision, that's an ideal thing for me.
Your typical work day, you said you wake up, you send emails and things like that. Just knowing you personally, hanging out with you, you like the coffee shop king. So what's your... I get a lot of work done in the house, and I like to take breaks, go lay on my bed, walk downstairs, sit on the couch. Yeah, so it's like, when did the coffee shop thing happen for you? It was like, I got to get out the house, I got to get to this coffee shop. You meet a lot of people too, because I mean, every time, you know, we walk into a place, you know somebody, you're shaking somebody's hand. So I can definitely see the benefits, because there are times where I'm like, man, I've been in the house for a whole week, you know, and then I'm like dying to get out. I mean, my bookkeeper yells at me for going to a coffee shop all the time, which I understand, but some like
I think it started in college, honestly, because like when I was in college, I was always work. I worked at the library at Temple University,
Okay.
so it was a very fast-paced environment, and I was like a tech support there. But then when I'm not working, there's a coffee shop right there on the library, and that's where I would like study and work. And for some reason, that's the only time I'm like able to focus and hone in on like my work when I'm surrounded by a bunch of like chaos and like people walking around and stuff. I'm able to just hone in on like what I'm doing. And so I think it stems from that. And then just transitioning into like my career now, yeah, I have to like change my environment. I'm like a flower. I can't just be in like one spot and have like the same lighting and I will get distracted and I'll just end up being on my phone.
That makes sense.
Versus
That happens to be a lot.
yeah, versus me like at a coffee shop randomly. I'm working. You never know who will come in, who you'll meet. Sometimes like I dress up a little bit more just to be a little bit more presentable or just like to be like comfortable. I really believe in that like idea of like, you know, you are represented with like how you are and like your fashion too. So, I just want to be approachable and cool and fun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see now that you're starting to expand into educating newer photographers. You're doing the workshops, you're doing photo walks and things like that. How did that come about? How are you enjoying it? And what do you see next in that space?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still working on it. I'll be honest with you. It's I have a lot of like imposter syndrome stepping into that because there's like the way I look at it is like, when I first started photography, it was kind of hard to learn, I guess, the rope of like doing this solo. And I just wanted to be that one person for somebody. And like whether it was like the littlest tip on like a photography shoot or even like pricing or how to talk to or send an email, I want to be of that value to someone because I've experienced a lot of things. I've failed a lot and I've succeeded too. But like you really got to look forward to your failures. But in order for you to like fix those things, it's nice to hear it from a different perspective. It may not be right. It may be wrong, but I believe in a human approach to doing your passions.
So do you prefer photo walks or having people in a studio doing the actual workshop because you've done both?
I think if I were going to do like that educational route or whatever, I like more intimate settings of maybe like which I haven't done yet. I want to do like a round table kind of thing. I want to bring in professionals and amateurs all in the same room and have that open like conversation on like whatever, honestly, especially in the photography realm. Like I think a lot of people think there's gatekeeping, which I used to be part of that. Like I used to think
like somebody was keeping you from going to the top.
I mean, it may in some cases, yes, but then sometimes at the same time, like you have to look at the reality. Like some things you can't just tell to some people. You kind of have to like let them experience it themselves. And it's not gatekeeping. It's just that's just how the industry is. It's a tough industry that we're in.
Yeah.
I get it. A lot of people worked so hard to get to where they are, and they can't just give away their secrets or give away like their processes and stuff, because it's everybody's story is different, So I don't believe in gatekeeping anymore. I think that it's like just proper information that's needed to be experienced by failing.
Yeah. For me personally, I never was a big gatekeeper person because being African American, you can blame it on everybody if you want to. If you go down that route, it's a very dark path. And when I was younger, I had to come to that realization that I can change things and I can put my best foot forward and really succeed. And with photography in particular, now that I know what I know, I can look back and just say I just wasn't good. Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't get the job because I wasn't good. Like
I agree
my lighting was trash, or even now, like I still have to practice directing people and make sure I get a good pose. And as I'm maturing in this craft, I'm learning more about art history. So it was just a lot I didn't know, and that's why I didn't get the jobs, more so than somebody gatekeeping and keeping
Yeah,
me
yeah,
from getting.
I agree. I agree. I look at it the same way. Like, sometimes you gotta take a hard, honest look at yourself and your work and be like, okay, yeah, I wasn't in the. I think like I wasn't. I was still immature at that time, and not immature in a bad way, but just like I still wasn't. I was still growing, and in order for me to like get to this level, I have to like experience these things of failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what advice could you give to someone just starting out, whether they want to be a food photographer, a portrait photographer, or just getting their first camera? Like, what would you say to them?
I think have that confidence with yourself in what you do, but also at the same time be humble and really just try to think less about the money and try to think less about the monetary reasons of what you're doing and actually focus on your art and connect with the people who you want to work with or who you want to be around. And sometimes it could be as simple as like showing up for them and attending one of their events or just like grabbing a coffee with somebody and like learning about their life and try to just align with that, you know. Don't force things. Just let it be, because the more you are, you'll attract. Yeah.
Nice. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Thanks for chatting.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure.